Hello, and welcome to my coffee painting instruction videos. We're going to roll through this really quickly this morning. I'm going to show you how to take instant coffee and make two different tones to work with so that you can eventually paint your own coffee painting. So let's go ahead and get started. So in your instruction card, which I'll most likely put on the screen so everybody can see it, I give you three different options. I give you a light, a medium, and a dark. Today, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the light and the dark so that you can better understand whether or not you want to use a medium. I don't generally use a medium, but it's really up to you what you would like to do. So I use these cheap condiment cups. They make things a lot easier to work with. You're using instant coffee, so it's going to be cheap either way. But yeah, you can find, I've used glass jars. I've used lots of different things, but these are generally my favorite. I'm going to show you how to fill it dry first, and then I'll let you see what it looks like when it's moisturized with the water. So generally for your light, you want 3 parts instant coffee and 1 part water. So we don't realistically want to go more than about 1/3 on the cup, 1/3 of the way up. So if you're looking at an empty one, you don't want to go about more than that with just the instant coffee. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. So that would be your light. And then for your dark, what you want to do is you want to, I know it sounds excessive, but you want to think 5 parts coffee, 1 part water. So what we're going for is almost a syrupy viscosity, whichever word you would like to use. So I'm going to fill it like basically all the way to the rim. From here, then you're going to slowly add in your water. So I like to use the butt of my spoon just because I feel like it gives it a little bit more of a stirring mechanism. So you notice how the instant coffee has basically already dissolved, and now I'm just left with this more liquidy center. So now this is more like coffee. Now it doesn't really matter if you use hot or cold water. Hot water will obviously dissolve the coffee faster, and so you'll have more liquid faster, but it's not a priority. It's not something you absolutely have to have. There's a little bit of chunks left in there. I'm gonna try to whip some of that out. I apologize if you hear tippy tappies. That is my dog, Cassie. She is relentless and would like to go on her morning walk, but we're kind of busy, obviously. Now, in your dark, you want to go as little water as possible. So you see how I put just a little in there, and now everything is dissolving pretty quickly. I'll bring it up so you can see it a little better. But you see how it's starting to get really thick? That is exactly the level of thickness we want. Now, if you see this and you're like, it's not thick enough, what I would recommend is to put in a small spoonful here and there of the coffee. So I'm going to do that right now. Just a little sprinkle. Mix that in. There we go. Nice and thick. So now I have my, what I would consider my light and my dark shade. So from here, when you're painting, you want to think of this as a watercolor technique. So if we already have a light and we want it to be even lighter, so if we're painting on a piece of paper and we want it to be even lighter, generally what you do is you use water to dull it down. So we're going to go ahead and test that. I have my handy dandy paintbrush here. So I'm going to take just a little of my brush, and we want to think light, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the middle. Okay, so that would be more of a mid-tone. Now, in order to make that slightly lighter, notice I am brushing, or I've dipped my brush in water. It's nice and wet. I'm going to pull just a little bit from there. And notice how it's going lighter. Okay, now if you add more water to it, it will continue to lighten as you use it. Okay, so we have our different tones. Then, if you want to pull further back, you can start with this guy and add layers to it. See how it's slowly going darker. Or, see that I almost dipped it right into the coffee? That would have been funny. Or what you can do is test out your dark. So we're going to go ahead and just whip that up a little bit. You'll notice that it might get kind of crusty on the top. That's totally fine. Just a little bit of water in there will help kind of break it up. Okay. So you see how we're going even darker. And then if I went in with like the thickest amount, we can get really, really dark tones. So that shows you the value scale you can utilize. Now, the one thing you cannot avoid, unfortunately, is the shine. It doesn't matter how many times you paint with this, you'll always end up with the shine. And that's just part of painting with food. It's the reality that you're going to live in, and that's okay. Sometimes I find that it helps with the piece. It kind of gives it a little bit more texture, more interesting aspects to it. But it does dry on this side of things pretty dull. You will also have little bits of bubbles in your coffee, and that's also pretty natural and normal. Don't freak out. Don't be worried about it. It's pretty normal. But if you don't like it, you can always go in with like a little scraper, pull it out, scrape it out, flatten it however you want. So once you have your paint done and ready, you can set that aside. And then you may go ahead and grab your painting. I would keep your value scale next to you so you have an idea of what it is that you are going for value-wise. And then you can jump right in. With this piece, I will probably do a light wash, probably a 1, maybe even lighter. A really light wash of copy all the way across, let that dry, maybe put some texture in the background, and then I'll jump into the cat itself. But yeah, I hope this tutorial was very helpful for you. I have a lot of tips on how to do your coffee paints. So if you have any questions, go ahead and just place them in the comments below. And I will absolutely reply. I love sharing my knowledge. I have so much fun doing it. But yeah, thanks for watching.